Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a really fun video to share with you guys. So obviously what we have out here in plain view is my MICROTECH MSI, which has custom aluminum scales from Original Goat. I always link Original Goat scales down in my description because they are truly amazing scales. I mean, I've got multiple knives out here with Original Goat scales, so I highly recommend that you check them out. They do make their scales in the United States. They have fair pricing. They have scales for a lot of popular models. They're just really amazing. But a couple of specific sets of scales people have been waiting on, right? In particular, you know, the MSI, the MSI and the Stitch from MICROTECH, people are like, oh my God, how awesome would it be if we could get those freaking things in titanium, right? A full titanium ram lock knife that's entirely made in the United States. That would be so cool. Well, you can't get it directly through MICROTECH unless they do some sort of custom, maybe eventually, I don't know. But as of right now, as of this very moment, we have titanium scales made by Original Goat. Again, linked in the description. You guys can check them out. Titanium scales that we are going to be installing today. These look absolutely gorgeous. Let's get these out. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. Those are absolutely stunning. Very, very cool. Look at that. Sweet. Oh, I can't wait to get these on there, man. That is incredible. Okay. So what we're going to do is the same thing I usually do. Taking apart the MSI really isn't all that difficult. It was easy when I did these. So we will, let's get this other scale out, but we'll add a little bit of fun music here and we'll do a hyperlapse and get these installed. Okay, I made that so much harder than it needed to be. So before you do this, two things. Number one, don't do what I do and don't do what I did and take off both the front and back scales at the same time and remove the pivot. Because then the whole ram lock cage gets all cattywampus and you have to dick with it to get it back together. Take the scales off one at a time, right? Always make sure that there's one scale attached with some screw, like ideally multiple, so that you can keep the back spacer and the cage as in place as possible. You might have a bearing or the caged bearing thing slip out of there, and that's not nearly as big of a deal if the screws are still holding the cage in place. But if you allow that thing to come apart and release itself from the scales completely, then it starts getting all crazy, and then you got to do that thing where you pull down and you line up the pivot and right. Keep that female end of the pivot pulled out, but still in the D-shaped slot for the nested liner that houses the ram lock and into one of the scales, right? Do that for as long as possible to keep the assembly as easy as possible. Also, I always forget, there's a little filler tab that houses the threads for the pocket clip. So you'll need to make sure that you get that out of the previous scales and insert it in the new scales so that you have something for the pocket clip to attach to. I wish that it just threaded directly into the scales themselves, but it doesn't. Oh well. The truth is it's not nearly as hard as I made it out to be. But I am very happy to say that after some finagling and doing the paper trick, I did get it perfectly centered. It's beautifully smooth. You can see right there. Just get it past the initial point where it drops, but beautifully smooth, very easy to manipulate, and absolutely, completely, and totally solid on lockout. People always ask me, like, have you ever had a problem with your RAM locks? Like, I've seen people have issues with disengagement. No, please stop asking me. My RAM locks are fine. I think in the early days, they had a little bit of issues with their lockup geometry. The RAM lock was changed. So the newer ones, I think, probably have far less of a failure rate. All locks on Earth will have some rate of failure, right? Because nothing is perfect. All of the RAM locks that I have ever had or ever showcased on this channel have been 100% fine. I assume moving forward, MICROTECH has addressed whatever issue there was with the RAM locks in the early days. So there you go, if you wanted to know. But back to the scales, these fit beautifully, and because they are titanium, they add significant but appropriate heft to this knife, which is already kind of a beast. Now, I love my aluminum scales, and before people ask, no, I'm not giving these away because I'll probably have another MSI that I put these on. But I love those. I think they're great. The all-metal feel was definitely something I wanted, but I've always felt like this knife was kind of a beast. And as much as I love MICROTECH's G10 scales and their aluminum scales, and as much as I love the original GOAT gunstock scales, by the way, guys, definitely do these with the texturing like this. Definitely do this in titanium as well. As much as I love that, I do like the added heft and feel of titanium on this guy. And while it does bring the balance back to about right here, it feels like the beast it was meant to be. This feels like the true form this knife was supposed to be in. And it feels absolutely epic. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm going to venture to guess that these scales are going to be somewhere around $200, which is appropriate, guys. They are contoured and textured. These aren't cheap to make. A lot of people kind of default to this idea that, oh yeah, it probably costs them like $10 to do, and they're marking them up to $2. That's wrong. That's wrong. It does not cost them $10 to do. This is titanium. The machine's required to contour it and then texture it accurately and perfectly. They are very expensive. It's unbelievably expensive, right? And yeah, they do have to make a little bit of room for themselves to actually profit on the scales. I'm not upset about two contoured, perfectly fitted titanium scales that are made in the United States, which, by the way, is a very expensive place to make things. So I think that's fair. And if you don't know, right, now you know. But with the price of the MSI, the base price being what, 180 or so for the injectable plastic scales, that means you can get a fully USA-made knife, right, with the titanium scales, if these are 200, for right around $380, I think. That's pretty impressive if you think about the actual competition out there, right? Think about all of the true American companies that are making knives full titanium, and how much do they cost? So if you picked up the base version of the MSI, even if you picked up the G10 version, right? It's a great deal in my opinion. Yeah, your base MSI at 175, 180, right? Then you pay, I'm going to guess right around 200. Let's say it brings the full price tag up to 400. You're still in a better position than a lot of the USA ultra high-end production or mid-tech knives that are running $425, $450, sometimes $550. This is pretty impressive. The blade may not have the same embellishment as something like the silver bead blast, Unumzan blade or whatever, right? But I think the scales more than make up for that for a lot of people. And of course the ambi lock, the beautiful deployment. I mean, this is pretty cool. This is going to be that just right knife for a lot of people. This really feels spectacular. Original Goat is doing such an awesome job. I love this. I'm going to carry and use it. I'm not going to safe queen it. I think these scales are awesome, and I can't wait to see them do this for the stitch. Please, please, this stitch, please, please. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is so epic. Check out Original Goat scales. I can't promise that these are just like going to be available immediately. It takes time for them to do. They can't pump out 1,000 of these all at once, but I will link this stuff down in the description. Go check it out. If it's not available for the knife you want, look around and see what else they've got, because they have a ton of stuff for a ton of different knives. And everything that I have attached, everything that I have picked up from Original Goat and put on a knife, all of this, these are the ones that I just have out here. I actually have more in my knife case, but all of the Original Goat scales that I have received and attached to knives have been absolutely wonderful. Highly, highly recommended, especially if you're big on the USA made thing. That's going to be it today, guys. Thanks again to Original Goat. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.